Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures down 0.3%, Dow futures up 0.19%, and NASDAQ futures down 1.37%. Bond volatility has hit the market today, giving way to a risk-off mood that has spiked technology stock sharply lower. The dollar, on the other hand, has jumped. Futures on the NASDAQ 100 gauge has slumped after accelerating vaccinations in the U.S. and the passage of the $1.9 trillion pandemic relief bill pushed Treasury yields significantly higher. Adding to this, a report that Beijing is cracking down on Tencent holdings also influenced the slipping technology sector. Elsewhere in markets, oil dropped below $66 a barrel. And now all eyes turn to Friday's U.S. producer price data and the Federal Reserve decision next week. Bill, what are you seeing this morning as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning, Shane, and, they were down, a lot further earlier in the morning. So they actually have been bouncing back a little bit. So that's a positive. The key theme today is obviously going to be inflation and the rising yields. The concept of panicking over this increasing yield seems a little bit unwarranted. And the yields really have nowhere to go but up. It's time to start taking some profits, though, as the stimulus bill catalyst, it's really off the table now because it's been approved. We do have a Fed meeting next week. They're likely to deliver some very scripted announcements, not to upset the markets. But if you look at the calendar, it's kind of void of market catalysts between now and between next week and the start of earnings season in April. So I'm a little cautious, and I'd be looking to take some profits off the table. And I just want to point out that this weekend is daylight savings time, and there is some evidence that suggests there's a relationship between the returns and volatility of it becoming negative on Mondays following the daylight savings day change. So it's an interesting fact. I don't know if I really believe it, but I'll throw it out there this morning.
Let's go ahead and talk earnings to watch today. Bill, what are we seeing as far as earnings go?
Well, let's talk about Ultra Beauty. That's ticker ULTA. Oscar, Larry, Tom, Apple. They delivered a beat of $1.06 on higher revenue. I mean, the report looked really good, at first, but if you look at it, they actually guided lower, and that caused the stock to drop 9.11% this morning. It's down $31.64. But the report was good, but that guidance really crushed them. DocuSign, that's ticker DOCU, David Oscar Charlie Under. They delivered a 14-cent beat on higher revenue. Now, I mentioned yesterday, it's like, I'm a little concerned about their guidance. I'm not really buying this one. And I guess the street kind of felt the same way because the stock's down 3.75% or $8.50 this morning after a positive earnings announcement. Domo, ticker DOMO, they beat by 11 cents on higher revenue last night. And, you look at the stock and it's up $5.50 or 8.15%. So, a lot of good earnings that came out last night.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Well, it's a little early to say, but we've got a lot of good earnings coming out next week. We got on Tuesday, we have Fuel Cell, ticker Frank, Charlie, Elvis, Larry. We have CrowdStrike, ticker Charlie, Richard, William, David. We have the home builder Lennar, which is Larry, Edward, Nancy. On Wednesday, we have Momo, MOMO, and G3 Apparel. That's Grace, India. Five Below, ticker FIVE. And the furniture maker Miller Herman, MLHR, Michael, Larry, Harry, Robert. Thursday, Tiffany's, TIF, Signet Jewelers, ticker SIG, Sarah, India, Grace, Dollar General, ticker DG, FedEx, ticker FDX, Ollie's Bargain Basement, ticker OLLI, and let's not forget on Thursday of next week, we have Nike, ticker NKE, where there is a little bit of caution that they might be missing their earnings, is what I'm reading.
Well, moving into our economic reports, what are we seeing today as far as reports, Bill?
8:30, we have the PPI, the final demand. 10 o'clock, we got the consumer sentiment figures from the University of Michigan. And at 1 p.m., you get the Baker Hughes rig count numbers coming out. The PPI for the final demand likely rose by 0.5% in February. It rose 1.3% in the previous months, but for the 12 months through February, the PPI is likely to have increased 2.7% from 1.7% in the previous month. Um, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index for March, that one's likely to show a reading of 78.5, which, it is a little bit lower than the 76.8 from last month, but it's one to watch, that Consumer Sentiment Index.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Holly. Holly is set to become a public company through a merger with Empower, ticker EMPW. The combined company will trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol HLLY. The combined companies will have an estimated value of $1.55 billion. Empower share price is up 0.10% in pre-market. In other news, Grab, a Singaporean ride-hailing company, is said to be in advanced talks on a SPAC merger deal with Altimeter Growth Corp, ticker AGC. The deal is rumored to be worth between $35 and $40 billion. AGC's share price is up 1.02% in pre-market. One on Apollo Global, ticker APO. It made a bid for Aegon, ticker AEGN, a company that agreed last month to be taken private by New Mountain Capital. The offer values Aegon at more than $26 per share in the New Mountain deal and less than $30 per share. Aegon's share price is up 8.22% in pre-market. In other news, China Customer Relations Centers, that's ticker CCRC, has entered into a merger agreement to go private with Taiying Group for a price of $6.50 per share. CCRC's is up 12.46% in pre-market. One on Alibaba, ticker BABA. Ant Group CEO Simon Hu, he is set to resign. So Baba's share price is down 2.5% in pre-market. Other news on Baba and other Chinese companies. China's market regulator has imposed fines on some of the country's biggest tech companies relating to 10 deals that violated anti-monopoly laws. This include Tencent, Baidu, Didi Chuxing, and Japan's SoftBank. Also to note was that a record fine of more than $975,000 was said to be imposed upon Alibaba. In other news, JD.com, ticker JD, is reportedly in talks with Yongjin Group, the largest shareholder of Sinolink Securities, to buy all or part of its 27% stake in the brokerage firm, worth at least $1.5 billion. JD share price is down 3.11% in pre-market. Last one for me. Thailand has halted the use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine over safety concerns shortly after Denmark announced a 2-week pause to its nation's rollout after reports of blood clots and even one death. AstraZeneca's share price, ticker AZN, its share price is down 0.37% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news down into specific alerts for sectors and industry groups, and I just can't emphasize enough how valuable it is to be able to stream the news into alerts where I can just quickly see and make decisions on these hot headlines that are coming in. I mean, I have this FANG alert and, a couple of stories that came out on Apple. You see I see that Morgan Stanley said that the recent pullback is a buying opportunity. But also of note is, a comment that was made by the Toyota CEO that said, Apple is likely unprepared to understand the support requirements in automobile manufacturing, as car requires support for decades, and it's kind of true. Apple doesn't really have products that last for decades, and people do not buy cars every other year like they do cell phones. So to make that statement, it's probably true. And Netflix, I see that the Netflix 30-day implied volatility is 35. Now, when you compare that to the 52-week range of 33 to 99, I mean, it is a little undervalued. One key item I see is that Netflix has said that they're cracking down on the password sharing. It's estimated that 30% of Netflix passwords are shared. I mean, if you think about it, if they're cracking down on the sharing of passwords and 30% of passwords are shared, that's going to be an uptick in revenue numbers coming up. So when they're testing this out now, and I expect them to be rolling it out shortly, but this could be really good news for shares of Netflix. My Dow Jones 30 alert on Verizon, ticker VZ. They launched a $25 billion debt sale to fund the 5G spectrum operations that they just purchased. Visa, they're seeing price targets increase this morning due to the passage of the stimulus bill. Everyone knows that Visa is going to really benefit from this stimulus bill. Also in my Dow Jones 30 alert, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, along these two firms, along with the other banks, they're moving higher as yields creep higher again. You just got to remember that that banks typically make more money when yields increase. So, that's why you're seeing these stocks trading at all-time highs right now. Let's move on to my retail alert. TJ Maxx, that's ticker TJX, Tom Jeff X-ray. S&P upgraded their outlook to stable from negative. This is very good for TJ Maxx, for longer term. These ratings upgrades from Moody's and S&P really do correlate with the stock price in the future. So keep an eye on shares of TJX. L Brands, this was a big one. L Brands is really on the move today. That's ticker LB, Larry Boy. This morning, they announced that they are increasing their guidance from 35 cents to 40 cents, all the way up to 55 cents to 65 cents. In addition, because I'm not done, in addition, they're unveiling plans to pay down their debt, they're reinstating their dividend, and they're planning on doing share buybacks. You look at shares of L, you look at the stock price of LB today, and it's up 6.68% this morning. It's big news for L Brands, the owner of Victoria's Secrets. Let's talk about Kohl's. That's ticker KSS, Kilo Sam Sam. They said that the active investors, that is really trying to force changes within the Kohl's organization, that they're focused on short-term, financial engineering, really at the expense of operating and financial success over the long term. Yeah, that could be. I mean, but that's, they own the share, so they're pushing you to do what they want. Shouldn't be surprising. Dividends, Applied Materials, AMAT, they raised their quarterly dividend, 9.1% to 0.24 cents. That's not a big one. The yield's relatively minor. Colgate Palmolive, ticker CL, they raised their dividend to 45 cents from 44. And Kroger, ticker KR, they declared a dividend of 18 cents. Stocks that are on the move that are likely to have increased option volume today. NVAX, ticker NVAX, their COVID-19 vaccine was found to be 96% effective. Also, ticker POSH, POSH, Paul Oscar Sam Henry, and Ulta under Larry Tom Apple. Their option volumes are going to be increasing because of the earnings results last night. So let's keep an eye on them as well.
Let's talk trade talk picks for today. I'm picking Lilly, ticker LLY, getting in at 205. They're going to be having a convention or at a convention to speak about their Alzheimer's treatment coming up this weekend. And, it could just be the same things going on with as far as the treatment's concerned. But if there's any advancements, if there's any good news to share, in addition, this is something that will definitely give the stock a pop. And it'll be all over the press on Monday. So if it's good news, it'll be very positive for this stock. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Well, I'm going with DocuSign. The thing about DocuSign is, it's a little bit cautious, and I will tell you this. I mean, the stock is trading lower right now. They released earnings. The earnings were solid. They delivered guidance. Guidance was not as bad as the stock is implying today. I do believe that the DocuSign is more than just a pandemic stock. I'm kind of looking to get in on, at 215, 216. If it trades back down in that range, it already traded as low as 213.50 today. But I think you're going to see a little bit of a turnaround in DocuSign because guess what? That guidance wasn't horrible. And it's not just a pandemic stock. This is a change in business environment. People will be using DocuSign more and more, and they're not just using it. It's not a one-trick pony because of the pandemic. So I'm looking for shares of DocuSign to turn around today. That's ticker DOCU. I'm looking to get in 215, 216, somewhere around there.
Well, let's move into what's hot off the press. So this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Bill, let's look at our newswire alerts. Let's see what's coming in. What do you think we should be letting traders know about?
RIDE, ticker RIDE. This is Lordstown. It's a share riding company. Stock's down 12% as Hindenburg claims that their order books looks almost completely fake. A ride sharing company, be careful of it. And when Hindenburg does these shorts, it really does affect the stock price. It's ticker RIDE. I also see ticker PVBC, Paul Victor Boy Charlie. They just announced a 1.4 million share repurchasing program. And I see a story on Boeing. Now, Boeing announces an order for 24 737 MAX planes from 777 partners. So that's kind of an interesting play.
One on Airbus. Airbus is in talks with a potential buyer for a new freight version of its A350 passenger jet.
AT&T is seeing worldwide subscriptions for its HBO increasing. So that's updating its guidance for HBO and HBO Max subscribers. Here's a story. T-Mobile, highly impressive cash flow ramp at the event, says Morgan Stanley. Here's a story about Apple Car could drive iPhone maker to a $3 trillion market cap.
Motorsport Games, a ticker MSGM, is set to acquire PlayFast Games. I'm sorry, their ownership of in 704 Games. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning.
That'll do it for what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind, you can receive these same breaking stories just like us simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Definitely will up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Thursday. I had Northern Oil and Gas, the ticker NOG, opened at $14.01 and climbed as high as $14.46 in late morning. Ultimately closed at $14.31, which was a 2.14% gain for the day. My second pick was Kirkland, ticker KIRK, opened at $23.83 and closed at $24.20 for a 1.55% gain. But this was an earnings play, and the real results came out this morning. As after earning announcements, the stock jumped to $25.80 for a total since yesterday's open of an 8.26% gain. So that was a good move for us, both of them. How's yours end up doing, Bill?
Yeah, I like that, Kirkland. Hey, you know what? I did Ultra Beauty yesterday, ticker ULTA. And as you know, I'm doing on solid fundamentals. I'm designed to capture positive return within a short period of time ahead of an event. Now, I was clear with Ultra Beauty. Don't hold it into earnings. This is a trade for during the day, a run up into the earnings, and I did not disappoint. This stock opened up at $343 and it ran up to $361.92. That's a 5.5% move in just a few hours. The stock closed a little lower, but it easily beat our 1% or $1 move expectations. And this morning, obviously, the stock's getting crushed because of the weak guidance that they gave. But yesterday, hey, 5.5%. Yes, there was an opportunity to make some good sized money in that stock yesterday.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.